Okay, thank you. My name is Magnus Mörstam, and I'm very glad to be here. I think I'm the first speaker here outside the university, even though I've been a student at Växjö University a long time ago. I'm from SP, the Technical Research Institute of Sweden, and I work as a project manager for heavy vehicles, or Tunga fordon. But I have another role as well. I work also with training within digitalization and Industry 4.0, and that's together with a German company, represented by Peter Malm in the back. He will talk later today. But we are giving trainings in Industry 4.0 and digitalization for companies and organizations here in Sweden. But I'm also a project manager for heavy vehicles, and that's an association containing all these companies. You may have heard of some of them. The common thing is that they are producing or manufacturing off-road vehicles, heavy vehicles, and they are brought together with within this association, heavy vehicles. And my role is to bring them together and make them collaborate and gain from each other. And my contribution for this DISA project is to bringing the companies together with the researchers. So today I will talk about the potential for big data within companies. I'll mention a little bit about different types of data analysis. I will talk about an example that you heard of already last year, but I thought it was so good that I would like to mention that even this year. Then a little bit about the skills that will be needed, and last but not least, two areas that I think you researchers should focus on to meet the manufacturing industry. So, potential for big data. Of course, it could be decision making. If you know more, you can make better decisions. So that's one thing. It also gives you a possibility to have customer focus, because if you know more about your customers, then you can have a more customer focus. And you can also make products more profitable. I mean, more customized, of course. That's one thing in Industry 4.0. You're trying to do individualized products with profit. And I now have said profitable several times already, but of course, if you do things right, you can be more profitable as a company as well. Thanks to the data. And exploration of market potential. You can also use the data to sell to others, of course. You can collect data that could be of interest to other parties, not just the regular customer you have for your product. That's also very interesting. And you can also have dynamic pricing. You can price your products or services based on usage instead, and how they are using the products. If you are using it more rough, you may pay more for that. And you can also, of course, optimize processes within your production and whatever, thanks to the data. And it's also something to take care of risks with data. So mainly, you have a lot of data that you can get a lot of knowledge from. So if we look at different type of data analysis, because you're using, the companies are using data already, that's nothing new, but I think that most of the companies has too much data, and they could use the data more or in a smarter way. So if we start here with, well, I think most of the companies already do, like descriptive analysis, like error messages and stuff like that. The next step, and also increasing complexity, is to like diagnostic analysis. So you can get an analysis of the errors, for instance. But not that many have predictive analysis. And what will happen, if you have a lot of data, you can make those predictions. And the next step is prescriptive analysis. Because if you have the data, you know what's going to happen, then make it not happen. And if you can see here, the companies, all of them are using the first step. Not that many are using this next step. And even only 13% is using the third step, and only 3% is using the last step. So they have a lot to gain if they can use the data in a proper way. Now I'll mention the project that was already described last year, and we did that together with Ilir back there. He has also already presented himself twice. And this is one of our members in heavy vehicles. And what we did is that we took a lot of sensor data from, we took sensor data from the truck here, and we gave that to Ilir and his people. And in a very short of time, they made a very good visualization of that data. And that was I think it was extremely good. And then, what was very interesting that was when we put Ilir together with the company, and the company who has the knowledge about the machine and the processes and stuff like that. Then when they got to see the different data sources or the sensor data and how they correlate to each other, then they started to think and realize how the machine actually worked. So I think that's a very crucial thing. You should bring competencies together, and through visualization, that's a very powerful thing. And there we can meet your guys. You knew a little bit about this, but you couldn't really tell about all the sensor data and how that correlates. And the guys with the machines, they couldn't really see all this because they didn't have the visualization before. So that's a very good thing. And if we look, what skills will be needed? I mentioned that already, because hybrids, I think, is very important. People who knows about the domain or about the truck or the machine, but also knows about the IT and what the possibilities are. And for the future, the soft qualities will be even more important, I think, because you need to be flexible and also have this continuous learning throughout the whole career. That's very important. Okay, now, but last but not least, 2 areas of challenges. I have spoken, since I'm working as a trainer and also working with this association, I have the possibilities to meet a lot of companies. And we have seen that there's another obstacle as well, because the companies, they don't really know about all the possibilities that digitalization is giving the companies. And therefore, we are trying to have this training and give speeches and stuff like that. But when they realize that this is important, I guess that this is one part, because they want to know, they want to see the big picture. If they have several machines, they would like to see several areas, see how the machines is working on a higher level. But many companies also have a lot of machines in the production from different vendors, and they they have a lot of information from each machine, but they can't really combine that and see the whole picture within the shop floor. So that's also a challenge that I would like to address to your researchers. So it could be like this, if we have a forest machine, for instance, could be, if I have several machines out there, I would like to see how they perform and also perhaps see trends and act before something is happening. So that's the multiple thing. And if I have a shop floor, I have different machines in the process, for instance. I would like to optimize that process based on the information that each machine is giving me. Then I need to combine that on a certain level. And visualization is very good and very important. But how to do that when the vendors maybe have different formats, they don't really take the responsibility for the information if you combine it with other machines. But you are very interested to do that. So that's a challenge. That's about it. Do you have any questions? Yeah? That's good.
Thank you. I think it was a very interesting perspective of using big data. My question is related to the challenges that you have identified, but little more than that. Do you think you could use the big data for companies to go to new markets? Because here you've talked about products, and then you've talked about other challenges of visualization of big data. But I was wondering if you could actually, because I'm interested in working on a research project that integrates, that connects big data to the decision-making of companies, especially small and medium enterprises who want to go beyond their comfort zone and go into new markets, culturally diverse environments. Do you think big data can help in doing that?
Of course, of course. I just chosen the two most prioritized areas, but this is also a very good point, of course.
So good, then if anybody is interested in working on that, I'm here.
Good, very good.
Yeah.
Other questions?
Maybe I can answer also a little bit about your question. The price a couple of years ago was quite expensive to start measuring, but the price is decreasing so dramatically. So even for the small and medium-sized enterprises, they can afford to start measure and to get the smart, we call it smart data, not the big data, because small and medium-sized enterprises, they need to collect the data they need, otherwise they cannot afford it. And when they do that, they start to actually find the patterns. And we are working with them. There are many companies. I think there are 14 companies in Germany doing the OEE, that is overall efficient, equipment efficiencies. Thank you. It's TEC in Swedish. And you do it very, it's cheap. You pay maybe 50 euro a month, and then you can start analyze your machines. And actually today, I think we have the better possibility to check our machines than our bodies, because we have the possibilities and it's not very costly. The thing is, if you only measure, it doesn't give much value. You need to have the understanding how to fix it. If you know that the machine breaks, if you don't have the ability how to find the maintenance program in that and to be predictive, you will still only understand that you are bad, not how to become better. And I think this is a tricky question. How do you get to the next step? But there are there are 4 companies doing this measurement in Sweden. We are working with one for the Asian market, and it's not very expensive. Raimundas from Lithuania here, he has a software, and I think they pay about 50 euro a month, right, for that service. And I think it's if you want to hook up on that data, I think it's no problem. Thank you.
Thank you. More comments, questions?
I can say that we have companies now who are very interested to start projects in those 2 areas.
Yes, Wilf?
TEC. When it comes to data and interest in the data, you have different stakeholders. You have the vendors of the machines, you have the service suppliers, you have the end users, you have maybe even larger customers who have their own service organizations with vendors from inside and outside your organization, or yes, your branch organization, and all of these stakeholders will have different needs of getting the data presented. Are there any ideas how you would like to cope with the variety of needs for the data being presented to these different stakeholders so that they make sense and value for them?
I don't have the right answer, but I know that digital information make it possible to have different views and present it in different ways to each stakeholder, so it could fulfill their needs, I guess. So if we just can bring it together, because I think that's one of the challenges. That this is the volume challenge here, and this is here's the variety or the format, another challenge. So if you can bring them together, that's.
Targets would be another one.
Yep, yep. And Peter could add something.
At least try. We see the big multinational companies, they will do this by themselves. They will invest and they will fix and do it. I think I have time to show an example later this afternoon. They can afford and they will do it. The problem is with the small, medium-sized enterprises, having different sources, different stakeholders, with the customers, what they want to have, and the machine producers, what they want to have. And this is the tricky question, and this is actually what we are trying to have a project together with, again, Iller, later in this.
Thank you. Yes, no problem.
Just to follow up, looking at the success stories in industry, you see that data is a value nowadays, right? Companies like Google or Facebook or Twitter, they have offerings for free because they collect and capitalize on the data. Well, I guess this is no news to you guys. So the companies that you're representing are sitting of quite some data, meaning quite some money.
Yeah.
Are they willing to open up these data sources for their competitors or for us researchers, or is this still an issue to get access to these data?
I think that there is another challenge first, because the company needs to understand that they have that value in the data, and that they could do something with the data. And of course, there are companies who are not that willing to let others have the data. But yeah, I think that's it's a knowledge issue. They need to get the knowledge or the insight that what the possibilities and the challenges are with the digital information. So, like a political answer.
All right, if we are done with the question part, I'd like to thank you once again.